And thank you for tuning in today to the National Veterans Radio Network. We are live today and we're streaming on multiple platforms. We want to thank our subscribers, followers, and those that are going to join us today. We are going to have a great show today. We also have a wonderful legal segment with our legal analyst, who is Kelly, and you'll meet her in a little bit after the first segment. But I want to welcome you to the show and just thank you for, all that you do. And we know that there are heroes in action that we bring on this show to share with you and make sure that you know who they are. And today is no different because we have some, like I mentioned, some great guests. Our Veterans Radio show we have a team. So we have Jimmy Odong, who is behind the scenes. He is our producer for the show. We also have our executive director for the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce, who is Joseph Molina, and you'll meet him in a little bit. He's going to be coming on for the second segment. We also have Dolly Rivera, who is my co-host. So you sometimes will see me, and other times you'll see Dolly, who is also co-host of the show. And again, we want to welcome our audience. Subscribe, ask questions during the show, and we're going to get started because we have our sponsors today, and she's here with us, one of our sponsors. And the sponsor for today is Wholesale and Specialty Insurance Association Diversity Foundation, which is also referred to as WSIA. And my guests today, there are two that are going to be joining us. So we have the founder of WSIA, and that is Vanessa Sims, and she's brought Lauren with her. So you're going to meet Lauren as well. So let me tell you a little bit about Vanessa and her organization. So Vanessa is an inclusion and diversity leader with demonstrated progressive experience building mutually beneficial business and community partnerships, leading effective teams, delivering innovative solutions to promote awareness, reduce expense, drive employee engagement, and lead organizational change. A trusted advisor, skilled in operations management, human resources, team building, mentoring, and inclusive leadership. Please help me welcome Vanessa Sims. And then Lauren, I'm going to tell you, she'll be coming on too. But about Lauren, she is the president of Public Entity Risk Solutions for Munich Re Specialty Insurance and serves as the executive sponsor for the Veterans in Action Employee Resource Group in Munich Re. Lauren serves as Sergeant First Class in the Wisconsin Army National Guard as a 42R and reaches 20 years of service in 5 weeks. And ladies, I would like to welcome you onto the show. Thank you so much for being here, Vanessa and Lauren.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Well, it's our pleasure having you here today. And, we definitely want to get into this, find out number one about WSIA. Lauren, I know that you work closely, with Vanessa, and we're going to get into this. I want to first find out, for both of you, each of you, and we'll start with Vanessa. Vanessa, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and help us to get to know you better?
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you again for having us today. My name again is Vanessa Sims. I work with a wonderful organization, the WSIA, which is Wholesale and Specialty Insurance Association, as the director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I've been there for approximately 18 months and having a blast just getting to know the organization, its members, and helping us to understand how to be more inclusive in our practices, more diverse, and bringing in talent and making sure that our workplaces are places that our folks want to be when they come into the organization, and retaining that talent so that we can do the best and be the best for our customers. So yeah, we have a lot that we're doing, and appreciate the opportunity to share with this community today.
Oh, we appreciate you being here, Vanessa. And I want to make a correction because I said that you were the founder, and I think I was already promoting you, right?
Oh, well, thank you. I would love to take credit for that, but I won't do that.
Yeah, well, we definitely know that you work hard with the work that you do. So, well, thank you. And I want to ask Lauren the same question. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself, Lauren, and also, what what should we know about you? That's, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I want to just take a moment and thank all of the veterans that are tuning in today. Thank you for your service. My name is Lauren Tredinnick, and I am responsible for running a business unit at Munich Re Specialty Insurance. And I also have the pleasure and the joy of wearing another hat and serving as the executive sponsor of our Veterans in Action Employee Resource Group within the organization. And that the whole purpose of that organization is to bring service and programming to veterans and service members, both within our organization and as we try to recruit other veterans and service members into our organization. So, and as Kelly said, I serve in the Wisconsin National Guard and enjoy doing that as well in my quote unquote free time.
Well, and we definitely want to, salute to you for your service too. And I know both of you, have had family members that have served in different, branches. And, Lauren, I know you're still serving. So we definitely appreciate your contributions and what you're doing for our country. With that, Vanessa, tell us about specialty insurance and what's going on in WSIA and specifically the goals of the Diversity Foundation.
Absolutely. The Diversity Foundation was formed in 2020 because the leadership of the association felt that it was something that was necessary. It needed to be intentional in our efforts to be inclusive in our association and be inclusive in the member firms within the association. Within the Diversity Foundation's goals, there are 3 pillars. One is talent outreach. The second has to do with inclusive workplaces. And the third has to do with making sure that the policies, the practices, the environment of the association and how we are governed and how we welcome and include our members, looking at that and making sure that we're doing everything that we can to embed diversity, equity, and inclusion into our policies and practices. So there are those 3 particular pillars. And the one that I think really we would focus on today has to do with that talent outreach. We look at colleges and universities, but we also want to make sure that we are looking at our military veterans. That's a community that can transition into different careers once they have completed their time serving in the military, actively serving in the military. So we wanted to reach out to this community as well. I will tell you that when you think about wholesale and specialty insurance, it's not traditional home, auto, life type insurance. Those are good. We need to have those. The types of specialty insurance that our members customize are things like, let's say, cyber, marine, natural disasters, wildfires, fraternity and sorority houses, celebrities who need insurance, athletes who need insurance, events and concerts and terrorism, political, all those things.
So it's very specialized.
On a regular basis. Those are the specialized, innovative types of products and services that our member firms create for their customers. So I just wanted to make sure we understood why this is a little bit different. And, some people don't think insurance is, it's not that sexy. Well, we got an alternative.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I just want to share because I know that you kind of expanded on, the different reasons why people would need that kind of insurance. And a couple of years ago, we started, well, actually like more than 17 years ago, our family started a Halloween haunt. And we do it every year, and we had to get insurance, for that, and that was available, for us. So it's very unique, the way that insurance industry is, able to support and help people with whatever endeavors that they have going that are insurance, that can have insurance.
Right. Exactly.
And I know that you've brought Lauren on for a special reason. And, even though she's part of WSIA, but why don't you explain and share with us, the greatness that, that is between the two of you and what brought her here?
Well, I wanted to bring someone on the show that has lived experience in the industry that we're in, and also lived experience in the military community. And so Lauren willingly volunteered the opportunity, her time and expertise to join us today. And I know she's going to share, and make sense of it all for anyone who may be listening or watching in the future. So I'd love to have her to share as well.
Absolutely. And Lauren, and the question that I have for Lauren to get started, what transferable skills were valuable to you as you transitioned your career from military service to the insurance industry? And what insurance roles usually make sense in such a transition?
Yes, thanks for this question. I think it's such a great one, and it's part of the work that we're doing within our organization right now as we try to attract and recruit talent from service into our organization. And what we're finding is there are lots of transferable skills from service, prior service, current service into the insurance industry. So just to call out a few that come top of mind are number one, first and foremost, leadership. The military does a great job of preparing service members for leadership early and often. And I would encourage any service member or veteran that's looking to get into any organization to really lean into the leadership that they have and those skills that they can put into really any role or any team. And that leads me to my next one, which is teamwork. So any service member or veteran knows we don't do anything by ourselves. We do it within a team, within a squad, within a platoon, within a unit. And we place the mission first and we get the job done. And so working as a team is easily transferable into any organization, and especially in insurance when our organization is working with an organization like Vanessa's or with the brokers that we work with to help us place the business with our client customers.
Yeah. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I just had two more that I was going to call out really quick.
Please share.
One would be communication, in that service members and veterans learn how to communicate up, down, sideways in a very effective manner. And that is a great skill to have as you're coming into the insurance industry, as you work with partners, both internally and externally. And then also the military teaches you how to learn and gives you the discipline to help you become a technical contributor quickly. So I would lean into that as you take on a new opportunity, in that you can learn up and train up very quickly in doing so.
Yes. And what advice would you offer someone on how to get engaged and learn more about the industry?
So first and foremost, I would say work on your resume and work specifically towards tailoring your military experience with the job description. Oftentimes the jargon that we use in the military is not as transferable into the insurance industry, but it can easily be translated into the insurance industry. And then lean into your military experience, both within your resume and within the interviews. Talk about your leadership and your technical skills, how you've worked as a member of a team to accomplish the mission. And then as you're going through the process, I would ask to talk with a veteran or a service member that works at the organization that you're trying to get into.
That's good advice.
This will get you an idea of the company. It could gain you an ally right away in the process and really help to build your network as well.
Oh, most definitely. And Lauren, how can people find your organization?
So you can come to munichre.com to learn more about all of the different business units that we have. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I would be happy to be connected with any of you as well.
Yeah, I'll have to connect with you myself.
Please do.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and I would like to add that they can also check out wsia.org. That's our website, but they can also find us on LinkedIn just by writing in or typing in WSIA. And a lot of our member firms are out there on that page, connecting, sharing their news, sharing their accomplishments, and sharing some opportunities. So that would be a good place for them to find not only Munich Re, but other WSIA member firms' announcements for opportunities as well.
That's perfect, because that was going to be my next question for you, Vanessa, is how to find your organization. And we want to also thank WSIA for sponsoring the show today. And I know you have been with the organization, Vanessa, for about 18 months. And, we want to thank you for your service too, working with the organization and supporting our veterans. And ladies, we're so thankful that you were here today. We hope that you enjoyed the show, and we are going to actually transition to our next segment, which is our legal segment. And again, thank you so much for being with us. And, we certainly want our followers and our subscribers to reach out to you. So we'll make sure that everything is available in the show notes. So thank you so much to Vanessa and Lauren for being here today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Have a great All right. And now we're back for our second segment. We just finished an interview with two amazing women, and you'll be able to go back and watch it if you're just tuning in. Vanessa Sims, and she's with WSIA, and they sponsored the show today, and also with Lauren. And we appreciate them both for being here. And next we have Kelly, who is with our legal segment of this particular show. And I believe we have Joseph Molina, who's also going to be joining us. All right. Hello, Kelly.
Hello, Shelley. How are you?
Oh, there we go. I'm doing well, Kelly. How are you?
I'm always fantastic. Thank you, Shelley. And again, thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And I know you have a regular segment that you do for the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And while we're waiting for Joe, Kelly, I would love for you to share a little. Oh, there he is. There's Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hi. Thank you, Shelley. Hi, Kelly.
Hello, Joe.
Yes, thank you all for being here. Welcome, Joe. Good to see you.
It's always a pleasure. And we always have such a great guest on the show. Vanessa, we connected somewhere on LinkedIn, and she provided such a great information. So thank you for doing the show.
Yeah, both of them.
And now we're gonna, so you're switching with Dali, and so Dali usually asks the questions to Kelly, and Kelly, I think you already met Kelly, Shelley.
Yes, I have.
Kelly's the best business attorney I ever known, and so it's like I'm so honored to be to know Kelly and be a friend of Kelly, and just it's always a pleasure to get her input on topics that we covered on this segment. And today we're going to be covering living trust, and I have some questions. I'm sure Shelley, you have some questions, but I'm going to let Kelly do the introduction, or Shelley, you want to do the introduction, and then we can move on to the show.
Yeah. So I think, with Kelly, and like we talked in the green room, I've known of Kelly, and I believe that, it's great information when we can talk about this on the show. But Kelly, I would love for you to share a little bit about yourself, on the show, and let's start with that.
Fantastic. I always start off by providing our disclaimer. I am a practicing attorney, so I do have to provide a disclaimer. And any information that we share on the show today is only for informational purposes only. It does not create an attorney-client relationship. I have known Joe for many moons now, it seems like. And thank you so much, Joe, for the kind words. And it's my privilege to know you. And I have been practicing for nearly 19 years. I know, Shelley, I don't look that old. I know.
You don't. You have me fooled.
She started when she was a teenager.
There you go.
Right?
Perfect. Perfect. And everything that I've done in my career is really to support entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I myself, I have a law firm. I've got 3 other businesses that I manage. I'm a CEO of 4 companies. I have clients that we manage on a daily basis. We absolutely love what we do. And the pleasure of what we do is actually giving back to our veterans. I'm married to a veteran. Our son is active Marines right now.
my
Hoorah! Had to
goodness.
say that. And
Oh, that is amazing. Thank
That's right.
you.
yes,
Thank you so
of
much.
course, yes. And our firm, we will do anything to support our veterans, active and retired as well.
Oh, that is wonderful. And today we're going to talk about living trust. So let's start. I mean, can you kind of give an idea of what is a living trust for some people that may not really understand what that encompasses?
Of course, I think the number one question that we always get is, what's the difference between a trust and a will?
Yeah.
And it really depends on the state where you live.
Mhm.
Since we're here in California, I will talk about California law. In California, if you only have a will is a piece of paper that you specify who gets your stuff upon you passing. If you, upon your demise, who gets your estate? Estate is basically stuff. Stuff can be tangible. You can touch it, feel it. It can be intangible. That could be a website, it could be IP, but who's going to get that? And that's usually included in a will, which is a couple of pages long. A trust, however, is a very encompassing estate plan itself. It's not just one document. The trust is a trust agreement. It comes along with a will. It also comes along with a power of attorney and also a healthcare directive. But
Mhm.
difference between the two, the major difference, Shelley, is that if you have a will by itself, your entire estate is going to go through probate. Probate is a
Mhm.
very horrible, dirty word because it can literally suck the life of the beneficiaries that are going through this. It's
Mhm.
horrendously expensive. And right now, the court system in California is running way, way, way behind. So
Mhm.
basically, a probate is that the court steps in, they'll appoint an officer, and the officer is going to take about 2.5 years right now to carry out the wishes of a will, basically. And
Yeah.
also, the courts, they do take a hefty fee, 20% of the
Gosh.
entire estate. So if
Oh.
your estate is worth 1 million, or if it's worth 100 million, they are going to take 20%. So
That's a
that's
great business.
Yeah.
exactly, that's the
Let's set
difference.
up a court so we can take 20%.
Ex-
That's horrible. That is
I
horrible.
like the way you
Oh.
think, Joe. I love it. Exactly. So that's the
Oh.
major difference is the court steps in, it takes a long time. With a living trust, you bypass the entire probate system.
Mhm.
That's the massive difference. And in California, if you only have a will, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you actually, and you're living here too, I highly
Mhm.
recommend that you have a living trust plan put in place.
Most definitely. And I think a lot of people, and maybe you can kind of talk to this, Kelly. I think some people feel like, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. I can't afford it. But really, they can't afford not to do it. Right. Yeah.
Exactly, Shelley. Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, our not promoting, but our firm, anytime any veteran works with us, Joe knows this, we give them 20% off all
Oh,
legal fees. It's our way of giving back. And yes, it
mm,
can be expensive, thank you, Joe, but we always manage to work with our veteran clients.
yeah. Yeah. And, my husband and I recently, well, probably within the last year, we realized, my goodness, we don't even have a trust. But we instantly, we went into action. We had a trust created, and some of the things that were in there were, we were thinking, oh my gosh, can you imagine if, like you pointed out with probate, if people don't go to that effort, then it could be terrible for the family.
It is, and usually the way uh, a a I guess the family dynamics would work is, say you're in a a married couple,
Hmm.
and one spouse passes. Do you really want the surviving spouse to go through this ordeal? Just one, they've already lost you, so the emotionally and physically and everything else is draining on them, and now they have to go to battle to court just to
Yeah.
get what really belongs to them. The threshold really should be in California, if your assets are worth $150,000. If
Hmm.
they're worth over $150,000, your estate will go through probate. And especially if you own real property, if you own a home, if you own
Yeah.
several, all of those are going to go through probate. Please don't do this to your loved ones, and definitely seek some advice on this.
Oh,
Hey.
most definitely. Yeah.
Quick question.
Go ahead, Joe.
I love the idea that you differentiated between the will and the trust, because most people, and that's the way we taught in school, the will and the will. And it's and I guess the will stands for you will get it someday. But but the trust seems so much, it just makes sense. And the question is, after you and I talked, I've been doing kind of just social media searching and like Google stuff, ChatGPT search, whatever. But there is differences on trust. So there's revocable trust, irrevocable trust. Which is the best, and what would that be based on?
Again, Joe, it all depends, right? You can never get a straight answer from a lawyer, but I'm going to make it as simple as possible.
I know you always do, so that's why I like asking you the questions.
Perfect.
The good thing you gave that disclaimer, right, Kelly?
Exactly, Shirley, exactly.
Yeah.
There are two types of trust here domestically, meaning in the US. There is a revocable trust, meaning you can revoke it, you can amend it, you can change it, you can destroy it. You have full control over a revocable trust. You are the trustees of that trust. The other type of trust is a irrevocable trust, meaning that you have zero control over your own assets. You cannot manage your own assets. You have to put a third party fiduciary in to manage your assets for you. Plus, you pay them their fee as well. The difference between the two is and again, it depends on your social status as well, and how many assets that you have to protect. Depending on where you are and how, if and I know, Joe, you've probably got some millions hiding around somewhere, right? If you have millions of dollars, it makes sense to actually have two trusts, have an irrevocable and have a revocable, so you have some control over some assets. But normally, generally, for the general public, we're usually going to put in the revocable trust, and that way they have full control over their own assets.
So that's, I guess that's kind of answers my question, because it's having a trust on top of a trust. Because when you're like, we're involved in the real estate stuff like that, and people will sue, especially in the U.S. and California, especially in California. So you want to kind of protect your personal assets, your primary home, your primary investments, all those things, so they're not breached. So is the irrevocable trust provides better protection than the revocable trust, even though you have less control of your actions, but it provides better protection?
That's the huge difference too between the two. If you get sued and you have a revocable trust, meaning you have control over your assets, those assets in your trust are not, I repeat, they are not secure from lawsuits. Lawsuit judgments can get to your revocable trust assets. An irrevocable trust, they cannot, because again, you don't own your own assets, right? If you don't own them, what are they going to get from you? That's the huge difference between the two.
That's
a
great
good
clarification,
good description.
Right? And quick question, like I know Shelley has this question too, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. But if you own your own home, like Shelley and I do, can the primary home, be placed in a trust without having to, some banks, they request the payment to be done if there's we switch that way. But can that be done, Kelly?
If it's a revocable trust, that's one recommendation, because usually if you look at a trust like a house, an empty house, and if you are putting in your assets in this house, now you're protecting it, you're putting it in a house. If your assets remain outside of the trust, then those assets will go through probate. So that's a huge action step that your attorney must take for you. Make sure that your personal residence is put into your revocable trust. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, will be irrevocable trust would be the best way in case it's a lawsuit?
It depends. It depends, Joe. That there are several ways of asset protection, and in fact, I think that's another topic that we should touch upon because we specialize in again business formation and asset protection for our clients. And asset protection can mean 10,000 different things, right?
Right.
But I would love to narrow that down and touch upon maybe the top 5 and what the different strategies are too. But everything would depend. Yes.
Okay, so we'll have that topic for our next show in May.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. Shelley, any other questions?
No, I think, thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing, because I think this really helps, all of our listeners and those that are watching. And it's important, that they have these kind of protections, at some level, right? And Kelly, for people to reach out to you, how do they find your organization?
Absolutely. They can always just Google baglerlaw.com. That's BAGLA.com. Or simply they can just Google Kelly Bagler. I am pretty much everywhere, Shelley.
Yeah.
Or simply just reach out to Joe. Joe always knows how to get a hold of me.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you for your contribution today, regarding living trusts and the information that you shared, because it's really valuable. And I know that you're, here with us every month. So we want to encourage people to come back if you want to, get some great information from Kelly. And also with Joe, thank you so much, Joe, for all that you do. Bringing our team together and just really making this show very valuable for those that are watching and wanting to find out more information. So I want to close the show out because I know we're at the end of our show today. We want to wish everyone a very happy weekend, and thank you for tuning in today. Remember to subscribe, and also share out this episode because we had some wonderful guests on today. Kelly and Joe, thank you again for being on with me today, our team, and we will catch everyone next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.